Hi, guys. As and we're going to do chapter 4 through this video lecture. It's available to you in the WebEx tab under Event Recordings within iLearn. So I'm just going to SharePoint and we'll start talking about chapter 4. Ethical and social issues within information systems for this chapter. Social and political issues are raised with information systems. Will principles of conduct to guide ethical decisions? Will information systems, technology, and the internet pose challenges to protect privacy and property? And we'll look at how this is not the same thing as being anonymous. And will systems affect laws for accountability, liability, and the quality of life for everybody? Neutrality means you and get Facebook and Google privacy. As for this terrorism video before, but I made one instead of Facebook and Google privacy. The book one is kind of dated, so we're in class tomorrow. The chapter set of big data. Big data is a new type of database that allows storing of additional types of data. Video, pictures, memes, things like that. All started with the real creation and evolution of social media. So what political issues are raised by information systems? We see that companies fail in their judgment. Such as the author points to General Motors, Barclays, etc. Answer of my business called IT Forensics Discovery, and it started because of the failures of Enron back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Ethical accounting practices through information systems led to us in the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which really took over the last 4 or 5 years of my job at so enough that helps us make wrong decisions. So information systems do to raise the ethical act on the internet and such. Cloud, we have new kinds of crime. We have new kinds of threats. How distributed it, money, obligations. First we see malware, spyware, ransomware, all kinds of things that we'd never seen prior to the explosion of the internet and low-cost access to the internet. So, back in all worth to take 9 credits of theology and 9 credits of philosophy. Theology is the study of our religion. Philosophy is the study of how people think. So, after these chapters, it brings me back to my youth when I was sitting where you're sitting. Those classes really helped make me who I am today and really helped me with my really took me away from the day-to-day grind of programming and learn about things we're learning in class. Think of the world as a pond. Have you ever been about a lake or a pond? It's perfectly still. I'm just glistening off it. It's very pretty. Without something in the pond, little waves. Well, this thing happens in an organization. Everything is working well. Everyone's happy. We're doing our job. He comes in and says, We're pushing them in. We're putting a way of thinking in. And great, when I put in a new system for encrypting our email and protecting our inbound email coming in, so we're going to have less chances for viruses and phishing and things like that. And it caused a whole bunch of help desk questions because our users now weren't getting their spam mail because we were blocking it. But we have the ability to open up their mail if they want to. We send them a digest, a little snap. Here's what was blocked. You click, you want, you don't want it, click delete. Oh, we couldn't grab that, and we had a whole bunch of tickets. So we met upon by something new. Pretty much, this was, we have us being round. We have IT and IS in the middle. We put ethical issues that our organization runs, as we've already talked about. Now, we have to look at accountability, control. Who's responsible for the news? Who's responsible for its quality? Who's responsible for the training? What obligations do our end users have? What obligations do we in IT have? Moral dimensions for the information age. Information, property rights and obligations, accountability, system quality, and quality of life. We may have part of a question or exam on some quality of life. It really goes into who's responsible for software, making sure it works, making sure we have good data. So, issues. So when computer power doubles every 18 months, means when we buy our laptops or desktops today, 18 months from now, that machine, the power will have doubled. Thus, indisposable. But change our computers every 18 months? No. As long as they're doing a job for us, data is dropping drastically. Now, storing data on the cloud with free services like OneDrive, Dropbox, or Drive, and it's stored for free, and we take use of it, and then we extra data storage if we need it at very low cost. We have to do data analysis and predictive analysis, looking at trends. It's gotten faster and faster at such a lower cost. With the growth of mobile devices, tablets, smartphones, etc. I've all heard of profiling. It's where you combine data from multiple sources to create folders on individuals. We see racial profiling, ethnic profiling. We hear stories about it almost every day. So knowing data from multiple sources to find hidden connections that may help us. Well, on CBS, there was a show where couples would pretend they were criminals, and the law enforcement people would have to find them. And the whole story was built around Nora, how these professionals were able to find these amateur criminals. Interesting to watch. I'm sorry it didn't come back for a second year. Seeing here, watch lists, arrest systems, porn systems, telephone records, human resources systems, all go into a database, and then we can track you on who you know, what you've bought, who you've called, who your parents are, who your family is. So we're accepting the cost, duties, and obligations for our decisions. Those at the top level of our hierarchy. Mechanisms for identifying responsible parties. Recover damages done to them. These are laws that are known and understood that should go to all people. analysis. We do this oftentimes at the beginning of our analysis to see if we need a new system. We want to the fucking dilemma, who stakeholders, what we take, and what are the consequences for those options. Going my pet, fill the role, do unto others as you want them to do to you. Many people well, you'll get treated well. It's too bad it's categorical imperative in class. If an end's not right for everyone to take, it's not right for anyone. I've thrown chalk before. I've taken my phone and just dropped it. I've moved around and I've asked the class, is this okay for you to do? And they say no. So it's not right for them to do. I really shouldn't be doing it. It'll change. If an action can't be taken repeatedly, it's not right to take it at all. It means if I can't do the same action over and over again, I should the first time. You take action that achieves higher or greater. That's what we typically do as humans. We want the most reward for the least cost. We take the action that produces the least harm or potential cost. So those principles really go hand in hand. We want the least cost doing harm, but we want the highest value. That's one of my favorite no free lunch rule. And it's what it is. Something's free. It's free because there's a cost somewhere. Someone's paying for your lunch, even though you're getting charged yourself. Professionals. There's some agencies that teach us how to be professionals. And ABA. I'm a member of the ATM for Computer Machinery. They're guys to keep us on the straight and narrow. So dilemmas we look at here. Monitoring employees. Is it right of a company to maximize productivity of its workers versus the right of the use of the internet for personal tasks? I agree with an acceptable policy, similar to what we have at Marist. It's my employees what they can and can't use their corporate owned for. I'm going to fire you for getting on Facebook or doing a quick YouTube video. But realize that users can watch and see where your traffic's going. Same thing with email. This referenced earlier, every piece of email leaving and coming into my environment. So if I'm sending an email to my wife from my corporate email, but people cannot see, is the point. No. We give up the right to privacy when we're at work. We're job, getting paid for that job. New York at-will work state where you can leave whenever you want, or we can get rid of you whenever we want. So, do it. For the individuals to be left alone, free from surveillance or interference from others. There you an exam question when I did 4 exams about and privacy. So privacy is great, and we should stay clean to privacy. However, the internet doesn't guarantee us to be anonymous. We get there, but it's not okay to pretend to be someone else just so you're seen. Protected by the First and Fourth Amendment, the Privacy Act, the Patriot Act, etc. Fair answers. There can usually collect data. We see an opt-out model, and maybe you buy something, and they ask, "Can we hold your email address and mark it here?" The opt-in, opt-out. It's how we're ultimately going to use that. We probably utilize all the time of, here's our system, I just upgraded my iPhone to iOS 12 today, and get an end user license agreement, which tells you how Apple's going to collect and use your data. Do you think I read it? No, it's 3 more pages long. Take much of my time, but typically all do. We don't read these things. So, but as we're protecting ourselves by having them there. HIPAA, do not track online or methods that we protect your privacy. A great deal, a lot with HIPAA protect our PI. FIP are there as well. Strict use of data. Essentially, if you're doing a business in an EU country, you had to hold data in that country, which is difficult, especially for U.S. firms to do business in Europe. We have copies of our data all over. EU members have a stringent, but you can't transfer data to other countries without protections. Members all have the same protections, which is great. It makes it easy for them to transfer data. When we're sending data to, say, Canada, they have to make sure protections are in place. How does that play with privacy? Well, first thing is our cookies, and I don't mean chocolate chip or peanut butter. Cookies, a little file that tracks visits to a site. And we don't have to remember sites we've been to because they'd be readily available to us through our browser, and we type in, learn.marist.edu, and we've been there. It saves the site, and off we go. But people use cookies to check where you're going, to see how long you've been on their site, see what pages you've viewed on their site. More importantly, where to go next. That where to go next, because then we're going to advertise you to hopefully come back. We've seen already in our home course files that are installed without us knowing it. We can have ads, we can have ransomware, we can have people doing things, opening windows when we don't really want them to. So opt-in, opt-out model already. On cookies. So we have our user through Windows 10 changes to Microsoft Edge because Internet Explorer 11 is very difficult to get to if you use Windows 10. And we have an email, j.123@aol.com. So we're going to request to say, look at my room here to see where we can go. RedstoneSports.com. That's sports website for St. John's University. And here, question that you're going to get back to me with the assignment tab. There'll be an assignment tab for this lecture. Lecture 4. At for the cookie discussion, because looking at a picture of this family outside of Madison Square Garden with the St. John's little banner in the background. So we went to MMA, Big East tournament, and Big Banner was out there, and I took a picture. So that's our question for today. Frame me any way you want, MSG in St. John's. Sports.com. It goes through our routers, our switches, which we'll learn about in the next 4 weeks. And it finally gets to the server where RedstoneSports.com is. It's not logged in, but they need our homepage. So it goes to a database. It pulls out the random web page, sends back to the web server, back to us. It sends a little file back that says, Yorido123 using Windows 10. Okay. We've been there before at the Weasels. And So that's who we are every step of the way with the internet. So if in social media and people have been shopping, say, for the Nike shoe, and at that store, on Facebook or Instagram, you get an ad for that show, and you wonder, how I'm here? It's because of cookies. So what's the dilemma? Are forcing cookies something that companies should do? And it's to us, but if we want true privacy, we need to browse in some kind of private browser setting so cookies aren't passed. But often we can't get the websites. So give and take. Tools I just put in place at Graystone were required by the government to encrypt our email, which we put security around our email that it can't be just read by an attacker. The language is all jumbled. So if I send an email from Graystone email to any of you, the subject in brackets, encrypt the subject, and put in the, and you would see I sent you an encrypted mail link. You would enter your email and password. If you didn't account, you'd have to create one. After you log in, and then you can see email. A lot of banking institutions will see encrypted mail to discuss things through email. We're anti-malware tools that help protect us. So all fail to protect users from being tracked from one site to another. We want protection. There's do opt out, private browsing. Draw. Next, who owns our property, intellectual property? Into any kind created by individuals or corporations. Here's how intellectual property. Trade secrets. We talked about Coca-Cola on Monday. I took an example too. The second highly regarded trade secret we have in the U.S. is the recipe for original recipe Kentucky Fried Chicken. And protect intellectual property for the author for 70 years. Copyright books or music. Patent or offenses, they give protections for 20 years. For years over intellectual property, going back to the 90s with Napster, how they were giving proprietary music files away for free. Apple iTunes, like we said in class, saved their organization. And yeah, I wasn't the guy on the white horse. They were looking for a way to make a dollar. But what it was protect people's rights to what's theirs. BitTorrents, getting movies that should be paid for free. CDs, DVDs. I've never been a proponent of those. I use it as a Amazon Fire Stick, a lot of other services to get world at little or no cost. I don't agree with that as well. I believe if you produce a product, you should get paid for that product. To replicate it and alter it, we can copy it, reverse it after we copy it. Very difficult to keep what's yours. This, my question really came from. If software fails, who's responsible? If a machine that injures or harms, the software producer and the operator is liable. It's difficult to hold the author is or if it's already responsible. If it's a service like a phone system, not getting messages, it's the phone system. All software fails, it goes to the software provider. Did we believe good enough? Did our programmers get what them the right way? table level of system quality. It means, can we produce flawless software? I use the Apple versus Microsoft example all the time. Apple releases operating systems once a year. Look at the phone. iOS 12 was just released up a few times a year. On the desktop and laptop operating systems, they really only update once a year because they spend more time researching develop on their systems to make sure they work as they can. Microsoft, their products 6 months to meet customer demand, and it's never flawless. It's why we always have updated operating systems monthly on Tuesdays. Oftentimes it's every Tuesday because they don't produce a flawless system. They couldn't stay in business if they were an Apple model because demand is so high for their product. Where do we get poor system performance from? Why does my hardware not work right? Could be software, which is an error. It could be your hardware. It could be something with your network connection. It could be the servers at Marist. You put in your password wrong. It's poor data. Quality of life. We have social consequences of the system. Who has the power of using systems? Now, maintain our work-life balance. A lot with systems because I can connect from anywhere where I don't have to always be in the office. So I have time for my family. I have time for Marist. Also not the case. My wife's work with this. They work in her 16 hours a day. It's very little time for her family. Finally, she went and said, I need a different job. They gave her a different job. Now she has the balance that she needs. Abuse has become rampant. Was the crime, identity theft, rather things that never happened before the internet came about. With time, I'll talk about health risks. Repetitive injury, carpal tunnel, computer vision syndrome, technostress. Just to get a little message. My wife used to be a techno-stress person, dealing with challenges of using systems and the amount of hours she worked, had real problems using technology. Still don't like technology, but she's much better. I have repetitive stress and carpal tunnel. I've had 4 carpal tunnel surgeries and 1 tennis elbow release, all related from my work life. So this isn't always a thing. That chapter, it really teaches us how we think, how we use systems properly, who's responsible for system quality, who's responsible for using systems well. Well, send me that question about where got the cookie discussion from, and we'll call chapter. We'll watch tomorrow on Burger King attempt to explain net neutrality. We'll discuss some more about net neutrality. We'll watch one of the other videos for chapter 4, and we'll watch 1 for 5. We'll get started with chapter 5, which is computer hardware, which can be a pretty quick chapter as well. I would anticipate finishing it for class on Monday. We'll group chapter 3 and 4 homework together, so we really need to watch this video before we do the homework. I'll host a quiz tomorrow on 2 chapters as well. I hope you have a great way as you celebrate good Yom Kippur to you all. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.